IVM.
If you like IVM Likes, you should definitely check out another show from the IVM network called Geek Fruit. It's a show where three geeks, Tejas, Jishnu and Dinkar, talk about everything science fiction, adventure, fantasy, movies, TV shows, everything. So quench your thirst for geek conversation every week. Episodes out every Monday and Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, the IVM website, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of IVM Likes. My name is Abbas and I'm in the studio today with two of my fellow producers. I have Karthik.
Hello.
And I have Zoya.
Hello.
Who you heard on the last episode. She made her debut.
Yes,
and now she's back. We don't have Janam this week because she's actually down with an illness. So please send her your...
DMs.
DM her get well soon wishes so that she's back with us next week. But while we are here, in case you're listening to IVM Likes for the first time, it's a show where the staffers at IVM, people who spend their sweat and blood and tears in IVM, actually give you some really cool pop culture recommendations in the first half. And in the second half, we deep dive into one particular subject and have a conversation about it. So, since this is the week after Gully Boy has released, which released on last Friday. And
last Thursday.
Last Thursday, actually, yes, on 14th, I believe. Yeah. And Karthik and Zoya have seen the film and they can't stop talking about it. So I'm like, just talk about it on the podcast instead. So we'll discuss Gully Boy and also the rap scene, the Bombay rap scene and India rap scene in general, how we have experienced it. But of course, before that first half, we're giving recommendations. So, Karthik, take it away.
So it's Gully Boy week, maybe?
Kind of.
Yeah, so I would be recommending Nazy, the artist.
Okay.
So, people who don't know who Nazy is. The movie Gully Boy is inspired from his life. Partly. Partly Nazy, partly Divine, partly all the other underground artists, as we know. So... I started listening to him early 2018s. early 2018s.
How many 2018s have we gone through?
so yeah, early 2018s. So I'm just...
But what was the first song of his that you heard? And how did you stumble upon it?
So the first song that I heard was Azad Hu Main.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a song...
So he writes himself, right?
Huh?
He writes a song himself?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he usually writes about the current political scenario, current social scenario in our country, what's going on in our country. So it's pretty touching when it comes to taking up issues. So I started listening to him back then. And I listened to a lot of Nazy and underground rap scene. So there are other songs that you guys should listen to. One is my favorite, that is Aane De.
Okay.
And the same song has been shown in the movie as well.
Okay.
So, yeah, the other song being Asal Hustle.
Okay.
Asal Hustle. So he's talking about the hustle in like the hustle.
Asliyat, you mean?
No,
right.
The hustle that every Mumbaiker goes through.
Right.
Oh, okay.
In his entire life. So, yeah. So these two are my favorite songs, and then he recently released a single in collaboration with American rapper Nas, and Divine, and it also features Ranveer Singh.
Okay, but so that was for the movie.
Not exactly for the movie. So, but they refer to Nas in the movie.
Okay.
So they eventually collaborated to promote the movie. Okay. It's not a song in the movie.
If I'm not wrong, I think Nas has actually got a producer credit on the movie.
Yeah. Executive producer credit.
Okay, cool. So how did you stumble upon Nazy? Like, did a friend recommend you or did you just happen to be...
No, I started listening to Divine.
Okay. And he has a collaboration with Divine. Okay.
So I started with Meri Gali Mein.
Okay.
Which was Nazy and Divine.
Right.
And plus, I don't mean to cut you off, like in Divine is his stage name, right?
Yeah, it's Vivian.
His real name is Vivian. Oh.
Yeah.
So it's called, the whole name is Vivian Divine.
Yes, who also came on Cyrus Says. So in case you're listening to this, log on to the IVM app or website and search for Divine and you'll find the episode where he was on Cyrus Says. So your recommendation is Nazy, the rapper.
Yeah.
All right. And you can find his music on all the major...
all music platforms.
Cool. Talk like him. Come on, talk like him. Can you?
Talk like him?
Yeah, can you?
Okay.
Say something. So
the Asal Hustle lyrics goes like, बॉम्बे शहर यहाँ पे जिंदगी है मुश्किल हर दिन हसल हर दिन स्ट्रगल नहीं देख पाते बुज़दिल blah 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 blah. So let's not go there.
Nice.
That was
Yeah,
nice,
second cameo
that was cool.
From Karthik. Alright, so that was Karthik's recommendation. I'll go next. So I'm recommending a TV show called Russian Doll, which came on Netflix, I think last week or the week before. So has either of you ever have you seen a trailer or anything? No. Okay, cool. So I'll try and sort of simplify what the show is about.
Simplify.
Yes. Also an IVM show that you should check out. So there's this actress called Natasha Lyonne who you might have seen. She had a small role in the American Pie movies.
I think I've heard of her.
Yeah, and she's also in Orange is the New Black. So she's the writer of the show, and she's also stars as the lead in the lead role, and also co-written by Amy Poehler, who's also produced the show.
Okay.
So essentially, it's a premise that we've seen before. It's essentially this woman whose name is Nadia. The show starts on the night of her 36th birthday party, and she keeps reliving the same night over and over again. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a premise that has been done before.
Yeah,
it's about a character who keeps living the same day again and again. But what happens is, so every time the loop starts with her on her 36th birthday in the bathroom in front of the mirror, and then a series of events happen, and some way or the other within the next 12 hours she dies. Some way or the other, she either gets hit by a car or she falls down
Where else was this?
So this was famously done in this film called Groundhog Day, which stars Bill Murray, which is essentially him living the same day over and over again.
Exactly.
Another Netflix show called Maniac has this premise where the same characters are put in different scenarios and they keep going through it again and again.
Also, like a very, very similar thing happens in the TV series called Supernaturals.
Okay.
So there's Dean and Sam, and they're two brothers, and one of them keeps dying like weird ass incidents happen, and he keeps dying and keeps reliving the same day, so he kind of gets used to it, so then he functions accordingly, you know?
So this is very similar to that. So she keeps reliving the same thing again and again, and she goes crazy. She's like, what is happening, why is it happening? And she starts to find out why it's happening, to trace why it is happening. Then she realizes that during this course of 12 hours, there's a marijuana cigarette that she smokes. So she's like, was there something in the drug that is making me hallucinate? And she's like, no, that is not possible. So she goes through a couple of more scenarios like this. So it's an 8-episode series. So the first 3-4 episodes, this is the trajectory of episodes. Then in the 4th episode, she meets another person who's going through the same thing.
Oh my God.
All right. And as soon as she meets him, she dies again and wakes up again. So now she has to go through the same loop. Only this time she has to find that person so that she can figure out why the hell, what is happening, why it's happening, right? And so after that twist, the show takes a very unique turn. And then as it reaches the end, it's really gripping and it's really worth a watch, because I think even though, like I said, the premise is done before, the way it concludes, I think, is very nice and very unique. So I think when you go through a premise like this, where you're seeing the same things over and over again, there's very good chance that you might get bored of the same thing again. But the writers and the makers of the show take care that you do not get bored.
Oh, so it's on loop, but it's still interesting every time you see it.
It's very interesting. Yes, it's very interesting. Because like I said, you don't know how she's gonna die, so you want to find out how that happens. Then you want to see next time what happens that's different from the last time. And then there is this in the back of your mind, they make this thing that even though she's going through the same thing again and again, in small ways, this world is kind of changing. So you have to keep a lookout of what is changing, why it's changing.
Okay, so every time that this happens, the surroundings also change. Or is it the same?
It's the same, but they drop subtle hints, and that's why it's so interesting to watch it more and more.
Yeah, because you're curious to know what is the difference between the first time and the second time.
So it's a very interesting show.
What is the name again?
It's called Russian Doll. Check it out. It's 8 episodes, and each episode is like 25 minutes long, so you can binge watch the whole thing in 4 or 5 hours. Check it out. It's funny. It's very well shot. It's very nicely produced. And Natasha Lyonne, who's in the lead, I think she's done a very good job of being in the lead. So check it out. It's on Netflix. That was my recommendation.
Would they be dropping a second season?
So that's what they haven't announced a second season yet.
Does it look like?
Are you through with the first season?
I am through the first season. So it does not end on a cliffhanger. But if they want, they can definitely do a second season. Like it's kind of in that space.
The material is worth the second
material
season.
is worth a second season. I would definitely like to watch a second season.
I would like to see the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Same
interesting, man.
So check it out. It's called Russian Doll. That was my recommendation. And let's round off the recommendations with Zoya. What do you have for us today?
Okay, so not a lot of people again know about the singer that I'm going to talk about, including my company, the lovely Karthik and the brilliant Abbas.
But our sound engineer knew who the singer
Yeah,
was.
exactly.
Yeah, so hoot,
It's a
hoot.
Pokemon. Horsey.
Okay. So she is an American singer, songwriter. Her stage name is Halsey.
Horsey.
Halsey.
Okay.
And her actual name is Ashley Nicolette. And
So is Halsey like an anagram of Ashley?
yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Oh.
So
Karthik's mind just blew away.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's a Malayalam moment.
Yeah, Karthik fell backward, just Karthik only.
oh my god. Okay, so sometimes what happens is when there is pure sheer talent, not a lot of people will recognize that talent
I know
through
what
her.
you're saying, yeah.
It's going to be through somebody else.
Oh.
So she collaborated with the popular band Chainsmokers
Right.
in the song Closer, and everybody flipped because she has this certain rasp in her voice that is not very. You don't commonly find that, okay? Like you have singers, sweet pitched voices and high ranges, but for a voice like that emotes so much, just while she talks, you'll be like, oh my god, she's compelling me, So I am a big fan of hers. And
But apart from Closer, like what other songs would you recommend?
a few of my favorites are Without Me,
Okay.
which has been released like a few months back.
Okay.
So that's like my favorite song of all times now, currently. And then there's Bad at Love, there's Castle, there's Walls Could Talk, there's Angel on Fire, and there's Devil in Me.
Okay.
So you see
on
the
fire?
pattern. Yeah,
Devil in
you
Me.
see the pattern. There's Angels on Fire, and then there's Devil in Me. So you kind of read the psyche of the person, that person is actually writing larger than life.
Right.
You're not just writing about breakup songs, or you're not just crying over a boy in your song, You're writing things like that really intrigue the listeners. So to me, I think apart from her voice, her lyrics are incredible.
Okay.
And I'm a huge fan. So I would highly recommend her channel. That's Halsey Wevo.
Okay.
And a lot of people and all you listeners, please, if you guys know her, then keep supporting her. But then if you don't know her, then you should definitely hear her out.
What, did she pay you to say all these nice things? Like,
That's
I wouldn't
what
say such nice things even if they paid me.
No, okay, I'm a true fan. And
Okay.
specifically this song Without Me, I mean the lyrics are crazy. You should seriously hear it out once.
Okay.
It's really nice.
All right, so Halsey. Halsey.
Or if you want in an accent, it can be Halsey.
Halsey.
Horsey.
Yeah.
Horsey.
Horsey.
It's not
It's a different
horsey.
thing.
What's wrong with Karthik? He's saying horsey.
Horsey.
This is the last R.
All right, so that was Zoya's recommendation. The artist Halsey. Please check out her songs. And that was our recommendation round. Let's just recap quickly. Karthik recommended.
Nazy the artist.
I
Nazy
recommend.
the bar.
Nazy the bar.
Yeah, I want to
Oh,
ask about
yeah.
that. I'll ask you about that in the second half. I recommended this TV show called Russian Doll, which is on Netflix. And Zoya?
I recommended Halsey.
Horsey.
All right, so not horsey.
Shut up.
Horses are available at the Mahalakshmi Race Course. It's a different recommendation. So check out these recommendations, and we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk about the rap scene in India and also how Gully Boy fared with the two of our producers. We'll see you on the other side of this break.
Hey everybody, welcome to another awesome week on IVM Podcast. If you're not following us on social media, please make sure you do. We're IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So we have a listener survey going on right now. It's going to run till the end of March. It's on our website. It's ivmpodcast.com/survey. Please do participate on that listener survey. Give us your feedback. Tell us a little bit about yourself. That helps us when we go out and talk to advertisers. It is also very helpful for us to kind of know who you are and what kind of things you like. We ask a lot of questions around what kind of content you'd like to see us put out in the next couple of months. And we'd really appreciate any feedback that you could give us. We launched a new podcast on Valentine's Day called Dating is Garbage. Surbi, Abbas, and Janam talk modern dating and the woes and wows that come with it. Each week they sit down with some very cool guests and have an unfiltered conversation about their dating habits, awkward experiences, and heartbreaks. Tune in to hear them attempting therapy on each other. On the first episode, we have comedian Uruj Ashfaq discussing rejection. On the Scene and the Unseen, Amit Verma talks to Ruben Abraham and Pritika Hingorani of the IDFC Institute. They talk about urbanization and planning in Indian cities. On Paisa Vaisa, Anupam is joined by Bhavik Dund, who talks about financial planning for first-time parents. On How to Citizen, we are on Chapter 5, which deals with the Indian judiciary. Joining Meghnad and Shreyas on the episode is RJ Rohini. They try and understand the pros and cons of our judicial system. On Golgappa, our Marathi podcast, Tripti is joined by stand-up comedian Rohan Joshi. He talks about his journey as a comic and the highs and lows of being part of the AIB collective. And with that, let's continue with your show.
And we're back. We're gonna be. Should I rap while
Wrap
coming
it
back?
Let's go for it.
Well, in a way, we as producers ask our hosts to wrap up things all the time, right?
Yeah.
So in a way, we are also rappers, right, Karthik? Silence. Okay. No, but of course, like I said, this is the first episode since the movie Gully Boy released, and it was a movie that's hyped for the good reasons, I think.
Yes.
The
Yeah,
trailers,
For sure.
The
Definitely.
trailers and definitely the music of the movie had everybody talking.
Yeah.
I unfortunately have not seen the film yet, but Karthik
Why,
and
Abbas?
Zoya have. Because I was busy attending weddings, Karthik. I had to be
without
part
trimming
of
your beard.
I had to be part of people's happiness.
Oh my
Okay.
God, you sound so deep
Yeah.
just for attending a wedding.
But before we go into the conversation about the rap scene, quickly just give me the first impressions of the film without giving much away because I
Okay.
haven't seen it. So who wants to go first?
Zoya?
I will.
Cool. What did you think of the film?
So, Gully Boy, if I had to summarize it, I would say it is like a revolutionary movie
Okay.
and it's also very relatable. I think it's engaging. I think it's approachable. I think the rappers have done an outstanding job in writing, and especially for me, I go all crazy for lyrics, right? For every song I hear. So for me to see them convey their messages through such sick raps, it was crazy. I mean, it was sickening. It's awesome.
Nice. Karthik?
For me, I would say I pretty much like the movie.
Yeah, by the way, Karthik, you are a genuine Indian hip-hop fan because
Yeah.
even before the movie was on the horizon, I could
Yeah.
see you recommend and listen to hip-hop. So with that in mind, when you do the film, what did you think about it?
So I would say the acting was amazing. Be it the smaller roles,
Okay.
everyone made a huge impact. Especially the one who depicted the role of MC Sher.
Okay.
So he's a newcomer. And
Yeah.
he got quite a lot of screen time.
I know.
Yeah, man.
Siddhant Chaturvedi, right?
Okay.
Incredible.
So he's an amazing actor. He showed it. And the other performances I would say would be Alia Bhatt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alia fared quite reasonably well when it compares to the screen time. I would say it's comparatively less
Than
Yeah.
the rest of
than the rest of the
people.
people.
Yeah, because
the rest of-
Ranveer Singh
he was the
is-
rapper.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like
Right.
the heart of the movie.
Right.
There's not one scene without. But you know what? The thing is, even if there is a scene that there is no Ranveer Singh in that particular scene,
Yeah, you can see that.
it's still going to be engaging.
Okay.
That is the best part. It's a hero-driven movie, but then it's not like you're going in only because you're a Ranveer fan.
Right.
You're so into the movie, you want to know what happens in this boy's life and all the people, all the characters surrounding him. How are they reacting to his passion?
Yeah.
How are they reacting to if somebody's supporting him, somebody's also dragging him back down? So all these things and these small nuances that Ranveer has created, like if he has a family problem, say, for example, which he does have. Spoiler alert.
Okay.
No,
So-
that's in the trailer.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So-
So he has a family problem, but then how he manages to do what he really wants to do without being dragged down by the burden of all the responsibilities that he already has on his shoulders.
Okay.
And one more thing I would say, this is something personal. I always felt that Ranveer in all his roles always had that Ranveer energy in it.
Right.
Yeah.
So be it Alauddin Khilji or
Simba.
be it Simba, be it any character, it had that Ranveer factor in it.
Right.
You always knew that it's Ranveer when Ranveer Singh was
Right.
playing the role. In this movie, I felt that there wasn't Ranveer, there was the rapper
Okay.
who's from a poor family, and
I mean, the
struggles.
same energy was channeled in a different way.
Yeah,
I
would
mean,
say, yeah.
I'm just saying this from what I've seen in the trailers of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the performance bit, the actual energy was seen in the performance bit,
Okay.
where it was actually needed. So that was the best part that I felt. Like, I was never a Ranveer fan, but after this movie, I felt that it's Ranveer and Ranbir's time in Bollywood.
Yeah.
Alright.
There's no actors
And
compared.
you know
yeah.
what's funny is, well, you just mentioned it. A lot of times because of this Coffee with Karan craze, people used to come up, you go to your friends and you be like, hey, who do you pick, Ranbir or Ranveer? And it's very strange. Up till now, I was like, only acting wise, I was a Ranbir Kapoor fan. And after Gully Boy, it has actually, I think a fair bit was changed after Simba because of his character in Simba and how he portrayed it.
Yeah.
But I think now I can say that Ranveer Singh is hands down, undoubtedly one of the best actors and completely will overshadow Ranbir Kapoor.
Okay.
I would doubt that.
But I want to like talk about the basic premise of the film. It's about the rap scene in Bombay, underground rap scene in Mumbai, which essentially comes from the streets. It comes from the slums and the streets. And
Bombay Satra.
yeah. So the thing is, like, if you see the rap music in context, like the history of rap, even in America, it was the voice of the streets, like the underprivileged black kids who did not
under the hood,
who did not see themselves on screen on record labels. They started rapping on the streets, and finally it made it in America today. Hip hop is the genre, right? So I first really sort of like we were discussing before we started the show, like I grew up in the 90s. My exposure to rap was Baba Sehgal and Devang Patel. Do any of you know who Devang Patel is?
No, I don't even know who's Baba Sehgal.
Yeah, so I didn't even know who Baba Sehgal was.
Oh God.
But the thing was, these guys weren't making like authentic rap music. They were making parodies or comedy songs, right?
Or rather songs.
Or songs,
Baba Sehgal, it was songs.
Baba Sehgal wrote that wave of indie pop that we have, like the Ali Shachina, Lucky Sehgal. Somewhere you slotted Baba Sehgal also in that, right? It was only a couple of years ago, I think, when AIB did On Air, where they had that song Tragedy Mein Comedy, which I think was sung by Nazy.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the first time I heard who Nazy was, and this was the kind of rap which was actually happening. Like, it was actually the rap from the streets. These guys were not talking about another rap that we have is the Punjabi rap, where again they're the rapping about cars and women and
daru.
Whereas this was, like you mentioned in the first half, Nazy was talking about the political scenario, talking about what are the problems of the people which they face in poverty and in slums, right? So how did you think that was portrayed in the film? Was that a part of it? Because some criticism that I have felt, I have heard from some friends of mine, is that the movie is like poverty porn. It's essentially Zoya Akhtar, who's never lived this kind of life. She's actually trying to fetishize this particular, this section of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was a criticism that Zoya Akhtar never made a movie which is like, she always made music.
Right.
She always
in her films, people go on vacations in Spain and on
cruises.
On the niche lifestyle, you mean.
Elite lifestyle. So, compared to that, Gully Boy was like completely a different genre for her. And you mentioned the actual factor why the movie was responsible for, which is like, the movie definitely talked about the poverty factor, be it the below poverty line to the middle class sector people who used to be the sufferers of these problems.
Right.
And I pretty much feel that the message was conveyed well and loud.
Okay.
It was. And to me, considering the fact that Zoya Akhtar, makes only, people used to think that she makes movie that caters only to a specific genre of people. Only to
the first movie she
class.
made, Luck by Chance, was about the Bollywood industry, which I understood because she's grown up with a father who used to write films, and she's grown up around films.
Yeah.
So obviously it was a very authentic look. But so you felt the authenticity came across in this film as well.
I think when people say that she is just trying to kind of, fill up a blank in her career, that she has never done this, I don't think so that's true. Because she has actually given, if you see it like practically, there is no trajectory in a rap, okay? It's like go with the flow, it's free flowing, it's people coming up writing the lyrics that they have, about the things that they have faced in their lives, and they're just going about with it. So it's free flowing, it's never preset. So I think that this movie has given a platform and also like a really big name or a stage for such people.
But were you aware of the rappers like Nazy or Divine or like the many rappers who are in the film
and
before you went into the film?
No, I wasn't aware. But then I did know that a few of all I knew back then was that the songs in the movie, which the music launch had been way, way earlier. So the songs in the movie were written by these people. So when I heard the lyrics, I was like, I need to know who these people are.
Right.
I instantly went on Instagram. I'm like, follow whoever the people were. And they're really talented. Okay. And like like for people like us who are just like regular consumers and listeners of music, it's very nice to see such content, being given to us in such a fun manner.
Yeah, I think that's one of the positive points, because I think till about last month, if you went out, the two rappers which mainstream Bollywood consumers would be able to name are probably Badshah and Honey Singh, because they are the ones you listen to almost every song, right? But
and
now
we should accept the fact that we enjoy the music as well.
Speak for yourself, Karthik.
Please, if you see that, if you heard that music, and you will be eventually dancing and all to the
of course, yes.
tunes.
I personally, I'm not a big fan of Badshah or anything, but my sister is, like, and she's hardcore Bollywood listener, and she loves
neither
Badshah.
am I. I'm not a fan of them, but then if I'm going to a party and
party,
if they're playing that song, I will dance to it.
I will listen to a Badshah.
See, so that's the difference, you will enjoy these songs like when you're thrown these songs upon. But then for such music that is in Gully Boy, you would make the conscious decision of clicking over that picture, clicking over that music video, and actually listening out what the lyrics say. So that's really cool.
Right. We didn't mention, but this film is partly inspired by the lives of Nazi and Divine.
Yeah.
Right. So, like I said, you were partly aware of their trajectory of life.
Yeah. And they Bollywood the whole thing.
Bollywoodized
the whole thing. So, but it was pretty much the same, I would say.
Okay.
The fights, I believe that I'm not giving out spoilers.
No.
She gave out the same spoilers.
But you know what, Karthik? It's high time Abbas goes to a theatre and just sees the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
I will probably tonight, or by the time this episode comes out, I think I would have seen the film.
Are you sure?
I am.
It's Monday already.
And I think I'll watch the film on tonight or on Tuesday night. Yes.
Okay, so we would definitely recommend this movie.
Okay, so I have a question. And so a couple of years ago, Farhan Akhtar starred in a movie called Rock On, which was about a rock band. And there was a little period where, again, people were like, oh, rock music in India will really take off because Rock On happened and all that. And it was a good movie. I enjoyed the film, but then it kind of tapered off. It's not like everybody is now listening to Indian bands. So do you think there is this scare of, okay, for the next few months everybody will be listening to Nazi or Divine?
And I'm pretty sure that will happen.
But then you think eventually
it will
go back to how it was?
How it was, I would say.
It's a phase and it will fade away.
It will get the recognition it wants, then it will fade out.
Okay.
And then it will be like constant. People would be listening to it, but not the same. Like they will be coming up with new movies, new music movies. So
also, I get that the film is good in general.
Yeah.
But again, the rappers and the language of rap that use, it's very Bombay language, right? So how much of an appeal does it have outside of Bombay?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
That's a huge question that everyone felt. So I went with my friends who don't know, like who are not from Mumbai.
Right.
So they found it difficult to understand the slangs and all.
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty much Hindi.
Right.
And there are some words that usual Gully Boys use actually.
Right.
So yeah, I would say that won't be a huge problem.
Okay.
So yeah, but don't miss out on the movie.
Plus, Abbas, as you were saying, I think the language could be like there is a language barrier. Not a lot of people belong to the same kind of, they don't understand that language. But I think they've shot it very beautifully. Like Ranveer Singh, when he's not like a rapper and he's still writing lyrics because he's facing all these problems. So he opens his book and he just starts writing. So first he's going to actually speak out the lyrics. So when he's writing, he's going to slowly write Apna time aayega.
Okay.
And then he says that, things like that. So I think for the people who don't even understand the entire language or the lingos or the diction of it, I think it's still going to be very catchy to those people, and for sure now they learn it.
Yeah, I think from whatever, even I've heard the soundtrack, it's a great culmination of like authentic Urdu poetry and Bombay language and mash it up together.
So it's Javed Akhtar and Honey Singh. Not Honey Singh.
Like a hybrid, huh?
Yeah. That's a great way to end describe Gully Boy in one sentence. It's Javed Akhtar meets Honey Singh.
Yeah.
Alright, so that was our discussion on Gully Boy and on the rap scene in general. If you've seen the movie and you want to tell us about it, please do. You can write into us and reach out to us. We are on all social media platforms at IVM Podcast on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. You can follow us personally as well. My Twitter handle is at Abbas Momin. Karthik.
Grow up, Mohan.
On Twitter?
And Instagram.
Okay, and Zoya?
Instagram, Zoya Mao, ZOYAMAAU.
All right. Until next time, we shall see you on another episode of IVM Likes. Till then,
see ya.
Is there a rap way to say goodbye?
Oh, let's rap
is there
something.
like a signing off? Okay, so let's sign off in style, guys. Since this is a Gully Boy episode, let's do this.
Apna time aayega.
Hi listeners, we at Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund have come up with a special podcast series called MF 101 in collaboration with Bloomberg Quint. MF 101 is an informative series that will help you understand the recipe behind mutual fund investments. And what's more, it's coming from the chefs of the mutual fund buffet table, from the very own fund managers and analysts who are the manufacturers of the funds that help you realize your investment goals. New episodes out every Monday. You can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you have a night routine? Well, everyone has one. And the to-do list usually looks like this. Brush your teeth, set that alarm, get into your pajamas, and switch off those screens. But here's one more to add to that list. Tune into the Positively Unlimited podcast for a dose of positive action and tips on how to build powerful mindsets. Episodes out every Monday on the IVM Podcast app, ivmpodcast.com, or wherever you tune into podcasts.